皆さんごきげんよう、尾島です。今日は、Dsd マスターミーティングの2日目です。で今から、9時開始だったんですけど、ちょっと遅れてまして、今まもなく10時になりますけど、トップバッターはクリスチャンコーチマンから始まります。今日は10人ぐらいの先生がお話しするんで、ぜひ、生の、DSD のワールドをお楽しみください。
For the first second,
it happened to me.
Morning. Francis is forever. I cannot remember Francis with one thing I cannot imagine. Yeah, but this is I have in a good quality in the internet, right? You would think you would. Everyone comes back into the country. That's what
Not deaf, but maybe 39. Yeah. We are 4 meters.
Estoy en ello, tenemos la licencia.
Can you hear us? So we cannot hear.
Yeah, I'm on. Yeah, on Zoom I'm on Skype. Yeah. Can you, wait, no. Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We got the end. It wasn't easy, but we got it.
Now she coordinates, right?
Yeah. I did.
Oh.
The shirt. Okay. Hang on. JJ's always telling me to be cool with the mock-up, but I'm not cool being cool, you know? Can you see me now?
I can see your slide.
Cool, man. Super cool. Okay.
I'm sorry, everybody. This is the first time we're doing online lectures in this auditorium. We got it now, and we don't want to try the phone, right?
Can you see me moving around?
Oh yeah, see you, full power, full screen, a lot of yellow, and
Okay.
you're looking beautiful.
Thank you, Christian. I don't know where that was. There or there.
So, okay, everybody ready? Because you're in for a treat now. I think you already noticed that we have a special character with us here. She's a special human being, speaking from Sydney, Australia. So Melbourne. I'm sorry. Melbourne. I'm sorry. And Jess, actually JJ was the one supposed to introduce Jess, but JJ is probably too hangover and he's running late. So Jess is a treatment coordinator from one of our Dsd clinics in Melbourne, and one of the first ones that joined the program. And Jess is probably one of the main reasons why we realized a few years ago the importance of having the Dsd coordinator as a special entity in a Dsd clinic. She helped us create this profile. She helped us polish this profile. She helped us understand what is required to be a Dsd coordinator. Because of that, she was invited to be our guest speaker at our first Dsd coordinator course, and she did an amazing job. She blew everybody's mind away with the information that she shared. It was so good that JJ and Lukin came back and said we need to invite Jess to lecture in every Dsd course. She's going to be giving these lectures on residencies, but we want to also share with you here, since you guys already had residencies, so you're not going to be able to see Jess in residency, so you're going to see Jess at the master's meeting. So Jess, it's all yours. Everybody's ready for you. I actually told everybody that you are a super nice person, so please behave, okay? Behave.
It's not true.
We can hear you. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. It's really quite surreal for me to be talking to you guys. I would never in my wildest dreams think that the best dentist in the world would want to hear from me, and I think that's what I want to speak to today. Am I looking at the camera? Because I'm not sure where I'm looking at. Am I looking at the camera now?
You're looking good. That's what matters.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, I guess that's what I want to speak to today, about what's possible when Christians really pave the way for us coordinators to become something. I don't have a job anymore. I have a real career, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that now. So this is my favorite quote, and this is something that I'm really passionate about to share with DSD coordinators, especially young women, because they tend to be young women in these kind of supportive roles. When I was a kid, when I was about 12 years old, my mum and dad bought a shop, and that shop sold like coffee and donuts and pies and, normal cafe kind of stuff. And it was really obvious from a young age that I was good at connection, and I could sell, and I made people laugh, and you know, they loved me and I loved them, and it went on for years and years, and it was completely destroyed the day that I walked into a dental practice. So I went to science, and then subsequently I got fired from every science job because I talk too much, and now I get paid to talk, which is crazy. But yeah, so I'm really kind of taught to be quiet. I was a good nurse. I was a really well organised nurse, but as it was, you know, 12 years ago, it was old school. We were taught to just hand things well and do four-handed dentistry and be quiet. And so that all changed one day when one day my dentist, who I was working for about 6 years ago, actually took me to a course, a Dsd course, to meet a guy called Christian Coachman. And during the course, it was a workshop. He was going around and he was talking to everybody, and he crouched down right next door to me, and I was doing my, like back then, you know how we did the smile design on the laptop, and he crouched down and he said, "You'll be the one that makes or breaks this for your dentist." And he said, and it was the same day that I learnt about emotional dentistry, and I realised that the kid in the shop that was really good at selling the coffee and making people laugh and connecting with humans could be woken up again. And they were the same people, it's just now I was talking about teeth instead of muffins. So Christian gave me an incredible gift, and it's been a complete love affair on my behalf ever since. And I'm just so grateful for him and for DSD. And yeah, so what I'm going to do today, first of all, is I'm going to share with you my guide for the perfect consultation. It's an 8-step guide, and it's something that I've developed over the years. It works for me. In my practice, I'm the one that does the consultations with the patients, but I understand that everybody's on their own journey and people have different levels of knowledge, which I'm also going to cover today. But this is how I do it and how my dentists do it. So first of all, we talk to the patient about their situation. Their situation, a lot of the times, is about their teeth, but sometimes it's not about their teeth. You know, we get a lot of people that come in and they might have depression or anxiety or fear of going outside, and usually their oral health just isn't up to scratch. The anxiety medication might cause them to grind their teeth, obviously causes a loss of vertical dimension, and it could cause migraines and headaches and you know, systemic pain. But a lot of the time the patients won't make that connection themselves. So during the situation, I'll connect the patient's health and well-being with usually their dental situation. So if you do a good enough job of that and you connect the patient to their situation, what you'll hear next is their pain. And sometimes this is obviously quite confronting. I think the better you get at communicating with people and really being vulnerable with people, the more you hear of their pain. And that pain can be anything from my husband doesn't love me anymore to I don't want to go to my daughter's wedding because I look like a monster when I smile. And I think our job above everything is to listen. When someone's really going there and they're talking about their pain and they're letting it all out and they're being vulnerable with you, the last thing you want to do is to tell them about your pain. I see it all the time. I consult with a few practices and I've watched them do consultations, and the patient will be talking about, you know, my sister's getting married, and then the nurse or the coordinator will say, "Oh, where's she getting married? My cousin's getting married." And they were talking about their stuff, and you came straight over the top of them. And the brain doesn't understand the difference between perceived pain and real pain. So when they're in their perceived pain, just give them a second and let them be. And for God's sake, don't go and try and give them dental solutions to fix their pain. I watch dentists do it all the time, and it's crazy. So be quiet, let them listen, and let them have their little moment. All right, the next thing is the summary. And the summary is your opportunity to give back to them a little bit about what they said, and just repeat just a little bit about the story that you've heard. But it's also a really wonderful time to be empathetic with the patients. So our humans love empathy. That's what makes us human. And I think, sometimes we forget that, especially I see a lot of dentists, probably not the people sitting there because you're all, beautiful communicators, I'm sure. But I see a lot of people trying to be super professional. And that is obviously important because you do like huge treatments, but you lack a little bit of empathy and a little bit of vulnerability in your presence. It's a really good opportunity for you to share a story of yours, to have open body language, and to really let the patient see who you are as an empathetic person who's listened to their story. Now, this bit is my favourite bit. This is the solution. And the solution is the make or break of your consultation. So your solution is obviously a treatment plan, but it's much more than that. It's a roadmap. It's a roadmap to what's coming next, which is even more exciting. But your solution needs to be concise and clear, and most of all, it needs to be attainable. The solution is not about money. We don't discuss any financial investments during the solution, because what you're doing is just you're laying down a foundation for something that's going to be incredible, and you've got the map and you've got the key because you're the best dentist on the planet. And I think that message needs to be to the patient's level of understanding. I get that all of you sitting there have got really beautiful practices and you're wonderful communicators, but if you think that you're going to get someone to appreciate your perfect margins or the incredible emergence profile that you created on the last patient, you're just never going to do it, right? They don't care. All they care about is that their teeth don't hurt, that they're going to look beautiful for their daughter's wedding, and they're not going to have root canals, they're not going to have dentures, and they're not going to be back here every 3 weeks. So I think with the solution, it's really, really important just to take your time to go step by step and make it attainable for the patient. Sometimes I know when you talk about treatment, the patient wants to know how much it's going to cost. They'll say, oh yeah, Jess, that all sounds really great, but I don't have $100,000 or I don't have $60,000. How much is it going to cost? And I won't tell them in this moment how much it is, but I'll say things like, look, Judy, I understand that this is a big deal. It's a big deal for anyone to spend this much money. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Just understand that you're not some Instagram model coming in here wanting white teeth. Like, you need this for your function, for your health, and to smile and keep eating, for the rest of your life. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make this happen for you. That's what I say about finances during the solution. So this is the coolest bit. This is the Dsd bit, and this is the bit that JJ yells at me about because I get way too excited. He says, Jess, you need to be cool when you do the mock-up, let the mock-up speak for itself. And this is so hard, right? The mock-up is so cool, and it shows people that there's hope.
Yes.
That there's something cool coming. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah?
Give me a second, then I'm going to switch the network here so that the signal is better. 1 second.
Okay.
Courses, yellow. Network needs courses.
Yeah?
Go for it.
You can hear me?
Yep.
So as I was saying, the payoff is my favourite bit, and it is really hard for me to stay cool during this time because obviously this is what makes us different. So the payoff shows the patient what the cool things are coming for their lives, that they're about to experience a transformation, and they see the transformation. And it's while I'm kind of explaining this to them, or the mock-up is explaining this to them via video, because obviously you've got the video playing in that awesome emotional presentation that Lindy has put together. That's when I talk about finances. I don't talk about finances until that moment. So once we've had the moment, once they've cried, once everything is beautiful and we're super connected and everything's done, that's when I talk about money. But I don't talk about it in a different tone of voice. I don't change my course. I'm just super matter-of-fact about it. I look them straight in the eye, and I do it in a very empathetic way. And I think people really appreciate it. So the next thing we do is proof. The proof is really proof to the patient that they're in the right spot, that this is where they should be getting their treatment. And you can do that with social proof, like social media or your website, or maybe you have some photos on an iPad that you can show them. I really like what Lindy did with the emotional presentation, how she added the 3D printer as a slide. I thought like that's really great proof to show that you know, we're digital. And also the 3D design, like I've got it up there. Patients really like to see it. It's something different and it's something cool, and it shows people that we're super precise about their treatment. Next thing is scarcity. I think I do single time, and every single time it works. Scarcity is when you say, and obviously this would be your auxiliary staff member, your Dsd coordinator would say, you know, Dr. Coachman is the most popular dentist on the planet, and he really doesn't have much space available, but he did have one cancellation for next week on Thursday, so how about I hold that for you, and then on Monday we could have a chat. That scarcity really works for me, and yeah, it always has. So that's just one of my little things that I teach people. The next thing is the close. So really, that is my close. You know, we're not car salesmen, and we're not selling property, so we don't need to have these sharp angle closes or make people feel pressured to buy anything. I think if you've been through the rest of the 7 steps really well, and your mock-up's beautiful, and you've given this amazing presentation, you've been empathetic and open with them, you really don't need much of a close. But that's what I use for my close. I book their appointments, I write them all down, I go through their appointments with them, what we're going to do step by step, I highlight those appointments, I put everything into a really well presented folder and I give it to them, and then I call them 3 days later to confirm everything. And I don't want to moz myself and touch wood, but most of the time, or very rarely, do people want to move those appointments. So that's my close, and it works for me, and it's also what I teach my students. So the biggest thing with these steps is just to take it really slow. I look at them as mountains, and I think you need to climb them one at a time. A lot of dentists that I have seen consult go straight for Mount Close, and it's something that I've seen so many times. You know, this thing about talking to patients about treatment while they're in the chair is just a crazy concept to me. You know, they've done the records and they've done everything, and then they go straight to Mount Close in the chair. What happens is people fall off the edge. Sometimes they don't fall off the edge, they jump off the edge, and that's what we're going to talk about in a second, the difference between jumping off the edge and falling off the edge. That happens for a number of reasons. Usually, it's because they are just overwhelmed. and it's falling. And jumping is that they've lost your trust. So with the end, because of mental pain, physical pain, brain pain, okay? You can't help that these things are an issue for most people. Everyone doesn't like pain. A lot of people don't have endless funds, and most dentists go into way too much information when they talk about treatment, and that's what causes brain pain. Like I said before, people only understand to their level of knowledge, and you're not going to teach them anything in a dental office. So if you can communicate on their level, every single time they will connect with you. And all the information that you want to give them can go home with them. They can sit there with their husbands and their wives and their families, and they can go through your information and really understand their treatment and the risks and the benefits. And if they have a problem, they can call you, like they can call me, instead of calling Betty down the road, whose dentist did the veneers in 1 hour and charges them $850. You can totally negate that whole situation if you just allow them to call you or call your Dsd coordinator. It's a really great thing. So that's the way that I negate that issue. So jumping off the cliff is a totally different thing. It happens because of this, because of these super cool dentists with their super cool $100,000 dental chairs that are so scary to patients. And I've actually watched people deliver treatment plans like this. Like it's amazing. No one trusts you, you're not open, and they jump off the cliff. The other thing that causes cliff jumping is that the message isn't consistent from the front desk to the nurse to the dentist. The message keeps changing. Sometimes the financial commitment changes. Sometimes, their friends got a different price to them, or you've just lost trust. And when a patient jumps, it's impossible to bring them back onto the walking trail. The answer, I think, to falling off the cliff and jumping off the cliff is the Dsd coordinator. I was recently in Miami, and I went to a really, really, really amazing event. I was around a lot of young women, and it's really hard for me not to get emotional when I talk about it because I'm really passionate about it. But some of these girls, they had never been on an aeroplane before, and they were being invested in for the very, very first time. They all sat there and they spoke so beautifully about their practices and what they were doing and how amazing the dentist was. And they all said the same thing. My dentist wants to sell more treatment. They want to convert more cases, and I want to help them. I didn't hear one person, not one person, say one negative thing about their practice. It was really, really amazing. And I think when staff are invested in, to the point where they become a Dsd coordinator, to the point where they're a patient, they're a practice grower, they're not just someone who works in a dental clinic, you'll see a completely different human. So I can't tell you how passionate I am about this new Dsd coordinator course. I think it's so important. And yeah, if you haven't sent somebody there already, then send them to the next one, because yeah, just to see them all together and learning from each other and, being exposed to amazing people like Jackie Schneider and Lindy, it's just, it's really awesome to see. So the Dsd coordinator is your solution, and we're going to talk to you now about a bit about how to implement them. So these are some of the courses that I've been to myself. That I have been to a lot more, but these are some of my favourite courses that I've done. And I guess why I wanted to show you this is that I was really invested in by a dentist, and obviously I've taken myself to some courses as well. I've done everything from craniofacial pain to mini residencies in orthodontics and orthotropics and endodontics, and I even managed to stay awake for some of those endodontic ones. But that's what sets me apart is my education. So if you learn one thing from me talking to you today, it's just invest in them. Take them along with you to anything, even if it's just dental and it has nothing to do with anything admin. They'll learn so much and they'll start to speak in terminology that patients really trust. So, if you manage to do that, if you get yourself a DSD coordinator, she's probably already in your practice, and you start to invest in her or him, and she goes to the coordinator's course, and she gets a little bit of spunk, she gets a little bit of confidence, she's going to do this for you. She's going to become your Sherpa, and she's going to drag you up those mountains every single day. Not only that, if someone tries to jump or someone falls, she'll catch them. She'll catch them after hours when she picks her phone up, and she'll fill in all the emotional blanks, because while you're in there prepping teeth and giving beautiful treatment to your patients, she's out here making them cups of tea, sitting down with them, discussing their treatment whenever they need it, talking to them about kids, or making sure that they stay supported and protected and away from the edge of the cliff. So, together, we're better. When our team and our dentists are aligned, we do an awesome job. And this next part that I'm going to talk to you about can't be done with just one person. It takes a whole team. So what I've spoken to you about is what I do in terms of the steps of the consultation. Now this is how we do it. We do it all together, because from the very first moment they walk in the door, we have to answer this question: who are you? Sometimes we get a lot of different answers, because sometimes people are different, in a reception area or in a lounge than they are in a dental surgery. And so we need to put all of that information together and answer this question. And in my experience, there are 4 types of people. So the first person is the power person, okay? Is Christian Coachman, and he wants everything done now, and he wants everything done perfect, and he wants it done, maybe not now, maybe 4 hours ago, okay? So this is our power person. Power people really love direct communication, okay? We're going to talk about how we do their consult in a second. But first of all, we identify them with the way they communicate with the receptionist. It's usually very clear. It's also usually very polite, okay? So that's our power person. Our next person is our party person, okay? Who's going to be like, hey girls. Who's going to be like cracking jokes and smiling and, taking selfies with the receptionist, okay? This person is super chill, he's super cool, and he wants everybody to know he's here, and he wants everybody to love him, okay? Okay. The next person is the perfection person, okay? The perfection person has confirmed her appointment about 3 times. That's how we know that a perfection person is coming. They always come about 10 or 15 minutes before their appointment. They've always filled out the new patient form before they even get there. And they're like everything just so. They're normally very neatly dressed and put together, and a little bit uptight. Sometimes a little bit rude with me, but when we identify them as perfection people, and we start to change the way we communicate with them, we see them come out. The next person is the peace person. The peace person likes everything done harmoniously, okay? We see these peace people, they like float, like on the clouds, like an angel. They're very people, and they talk like this in long sentences. They also are usually the most terrified of dental procedures. And a lot of the time they're just doing this to calm their central nervous systems down, And so we need to be very careful when these people come in. These people are like ticking time bombs, okay? Because if they hear on the phone that someone is sick or there's a problem with a patient or anything like that, they can very, very quickly turn into an explosion. So the peace people only stay peace people if we treat them as so. And this is how we treat the different people. So from the very beginning, from the very first appointment where we're taking the records, Christian Coachman wants time to think. He doesn't want you coming at him like this, okay? He wants you to take half a step back. He wants you to respect his personal space, but he also wants to hear what you have to give. He wants to hear what the story is. He wants to hear your pitch, but he wants it from here so that he can think and be reasonable and make his own decisions. JJ wants you here, okay? He wants to hug you, he wants to be with you, he wants to like be one of the team members, and he loves the show, he loves the story. But it's super important for people like party people to feel you. That empathy is something you will never get a party person across the line without empathy, without honesty, and without your heart. Your heart is the most important thing to JJ. And if you wanted to sell him a full mouth rehab, you just have to give him a hug and tell him that everybody loves him and you can have whatever you want. So, with the peace people, they need to feel you, they want to feel your empathy, but they ask a lot of questions. They ask a lot of questions because they're nervous, and they want to make sure that everything's going to be done harmoniously and very thoughtfully and very kindly. The perfection people are the ones that we all talk about in the office, okay? And call, they're the ones that if you haven't connected with them properly, they'll keep cancelling their appointments again and again and again because you haven't given them enough information. They also need a lot of time to think. So I've found over the years that the perfection people usually come to me for second opinions from other dentists. We get quite a few people that come here to Bond Street for second opinions, and I always get them. If I get a second opinion, I am so happy because I know it's either going to be a perfection person or a party person. And I'm you know, the party thing, I'm sorted, right? But as soon as I see that they're perfection people, I go into perfection mode and I give them everything. And I sit with them. Sometimes I sit with them for 3 or 4 hours. And I give them my undivided attention. And I'm happy to bring that x-ray up for the 10th time and go through it with them. And I always book the case with a second opinion. Because the other dental practice, they just didn't see it. They wrote her off as an impossible patient. But once you've done the treatment, and once they trust you, they become the most beautiful patients, and they always are the ones that refer so many people because their other experiences at other dental practices was so completely different to anything you had to offer. What I really believe is that all of this needs to be done as a team, but it needs to be spearheaded by your Dsd coordinator, because usually they're the ones with the power to connect, that have more time to do it. That, you know, if they're a woman, they're probably naturally, you know, more empathetic, but I'm not saying a man can't do it. It's just, you know, they have their limitations. In my experience, without a Dsd coordinator, I don't think that you can run your practice to this kind of level because you just need to be doing treatment and connecting with your patients in the surgeries. So what I did, I wrote a couple of tips down. I thought if you haven't taken your staff member to a Dsd course yet, please do. But before you do that, a really nice way to start introducing different ways of communicating is to do some role playing and to discuss this. So a lot of your staff won't know that 7% of communication is spoken word. So to teach them to use own language, ask what questions, to sandwich negative stuff, and to use optimistic language. I hear a lot on reception desks when I go and listen, or when I call other practices, this really kind of closed-ended negative language that we've been taught to use. And so role-playing with them and someone on the phone is something which is really fun. Tone of voice. 38%, you know, it's so important. We need to mimic our patients, but also to be assertive. I think when you're a dentist, you naturally are assertive because you have, you know, you've done the training, and not only are you a dentist, but you're a master, and you've got all of these things behind you. So when you come to work and you see your patients, you've got this natural, you know, aura about you. The nurses and DSD coordinators, we need to give them that, and we need to give them authority to be assertive, and we need to trust them. And so if you did this exercise with them and you gave them permission, and then you educated them, I think you'll see very, very different people that are really going to get on board. Obviously that assertiveness needs to be, you know, monitored, and they need a lot of feedback because it's not something that's easy to learn. Something that a lot of young women do that really drives me insane is when they do this, like when they're talking and they go up at the end because it's cute, and we've been taught to be cute and nice to everybody. Like, no one will believe you, right? No one's believing you about anything. And if you try to talk to me about if you try to talk to Christian Coachman about $50,000 like this, he's gonna walk out. We're lost him. He's gone. So we really have to drum this out of them. Okay, this idea that women are supposed to be cute and nice, you know, it's over. The game is up. And if you can empower your staff like that, the scrunchies will go, the runners will go, the pink eyeshadow will go, and they'll start doing this. And everything will, you know, your practice will grow. And so will your staff. And that's, yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of into it. You know? So 55% of your communication is body language. So important. I think the most important thing is to have open arms. And you know, when we greet someone that we know, and when we greet someone we don't know, we greet them with an open hand to show them that we're not and we're not dangerous. Body language is so powerful because it proves our vulnerability, and it proves our truthfulness. I see a lot of people, I don't want to say women again, but unfortunately it is, and men, dentists, when they talk about treatment, they touch their face, or they might, you know, play with their facial hair or something. When you touch your face when you're talking, especially your mouth, tongue, and I think when a lot of money, or they talk about treatment that, you know, think the patient can't afford, which is a mind-blowing concept to me, but trust me, if they think people can afford, it's a real thing. When they do that, they pay because they're nervous and they subconsciously don't want it to come out of their mouth. So that's a really powerful thing that you can teach a staff. The other thing is playing with your clothes and playing with your hair. That is also something that I see a lot of in dental practices. You know, you see receptionists on the phone, like twirling their hair, playing with their earring, you know, looking in their phones, putting their lip gloss on. You really got to just stamp it out. But do it in an empowering way so they know that it's because you want them to be something, not that you want them to be something that you want, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, the idea is connection. I think to really connect with our patients, no matter what type of patient they are, or if they're a mix of types of patients. The best way to do this is if we do it all together, if we all march to the same song. I think that's what DSD has given us. It's given us a song to march to. You know, the mock-up is just hope, and the records appointment and the pain that we hear is just their story. And at the end of the day, it all comes together, and what you create is magic. And we're so lucky to have it. So I guess that's what DSD is for me. It's the script that we all follow. It's a song that we all sing, and it gives us a real opportunity to connect with our patients and to deliver, you know, some of the most beautiful results like this one. This is one of my favourite patients. Her name's Stephanie Kenner, and she just brought so much joy to my life and to our whole practice. She really was in a bad way, emotionally. Psychologically. She didn't brush her teeth for a long time, and she had you know, headaches and jaw pain, and it took a long time to get her in the right position. We worked with some other health providers as well, but we got her in the right position. We made her some beautiful restorations, and we changed her life. But not only did we get a really cool result health-wise, but her and I, and Nima and Stephanie and the receptionist, and Stephanie and the steri nurse made such a beautiful connection with each other. And I think that's something that all of us are going to have for the rest of our lives. And she's a really special person. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for listening to me. It means the world to me that you invited me to speak, and hopefully you'll see me again.
Thank you. Can you hear me, Jess?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jess. I hope everybody enjoyed. Of course, that online, we had to ask Jess to make a shorter version of her lecture, but she is on board with us on the coordinator course, and you can imagine her in person interacting and doing workshops, and she's also starting to do consultancies. People are hiring her to do in-house training. You are amazing, Jess.
Thank you, Christian.
We are all very grateful that you are on board, okay? Thanks for joining us from the other side of the world, and I hope to see you soon. Say hello to Nima and to the whole team over there, and to Russell, and see you guys in Australia when I come down in a few months, I hope.
Okay, I can't wait. Yeah, I'll see you at parties.
Yes, that's it. So she deserves another hand of applause. Cheers. He's alive. I don't know why she classified you as a party person. Everything about her lecture was good besides that classification.
How did you get here?
She missed that. You're not a party person.
Right?
No?
No, I don't know how far they got here. I really wasn't not expecting you here.
Fadi's a survivor.
Oh my God.
You know, he has experience of this. Playing and working hard right after, right? Okay, so I really hope you guys enjoyed. There's a lot to be explored on that role. We know it's the key factor of every DSD clinic. We are learning as we grow. You can understand why after 10 years developing DSD in our own office in São Paulo, for 6 years were just ideas, and things only really happened when Jackie joined, and she was humble enough as a doctor to step down and say, I'm gonna be the coordinator. I'm gonna do less clinical treatments. I'm gonna do the heavy work of DSD implementation. I'm gonna work as a secretary, as a nurse, as a technician. I'm gonna do everything that needs to be done on the backstage of the office to connect the dots, to find why these ideas look so cool and nothing is being used. Nothing is actually being implemented. DSD was just a bunch of cool ideas that was not changing anybody's life, not my father's life as a business owner, not our own life as dental office owners, until we realized the amount of work that needs to be done to make all these ideas become a routine. So, as I mentioned the first day, and as I mentioned every DSD course nowadays, the only way to take advantage of good ideas is when good ideas become a routine. Until that moment, we will waste time and money. We will have to go through this process until it becomes a routine. And as a doctor, we can only make it become a routine if we have somebody like Jess that believes in it, that we empower them. I think that was the most important message. It really was very cool when she said, don't tell your coordinator, don't tell your assistant not to do that. Don't talk like this, or don't say that because I don't like, because you need to behave. No, don't do that because I want you to have an amazing career. So you need to change that to create that career, not because it's good for me, not because it's good for my clinic. My patients don't like the way you behave. My patients will not say yes if you do this. No, that's not the thing. We're gonna shape you, we're gonna invest in you because we want you to embrace this new amazing career that is being the right arm of any modern dental office in the future. You're gonna need that partnership to be able to really be competitive, to be able to face the threats that are out there as all these super cool, cute new chains of clinics that are showing up, you know. We see that also happening in Brazil. It's a completely different world, and we need to prepare ourselves, prepare our army, our internal soldiers, and I can tell you that the coordinator should be our general. The coordinator should be the person to lead our team. So pick the person, find the person, ask JJ about if you didn't find that person yet, JJ is becoming an expert on identifying that person among your existing team, or helping you to find a person if you don't have that person, and then giving the support and the training and empowering that person so the person feels like Jess. Can you imagine having somebody like Jess working for you every single day, like with that feeling, doctor, today, again, we're gonna kick ass, and I'm here for you, right?
Right. And you don't know how good she is, really explaining DSD and closing the sales. It's incredible. That's why we invited her to the course, to speak at the coordinators and then here. And then we're gonna speak now, me and Christopher. I'll introduce him a little later. He's gonna give you some marketing tips and social media trends. But I'll start because my part has to do with what Christian said. And
But just before you start, JJ, do we want to make sure everybody's starting to download the content for the hands-on?
that is really important.
So when you finish, we are ready to go for the hands-on.
Okay.
So you saw Jess mentioning, because Lindy did this, Lindy prepared that. Lindy is the doctor on our team as well that is part of this DSD coordinator training team, and she's the one who created the template to create these super powerful, super easy emotional presentations. So we call it the Lindy template, or the emotional presentation template, and that's what Jess was referring to. And to do the hands-on, okay, we need you to get access to the content to do the hands-on. So what I need you to do, we identified that most of the people in the room are not registered in our website yet. So usually when I ask you, everybody, no, we are registered. No, you're not registered. So like 80% of the people are not in, you don't have an account on our website. So what I want you to do, and maybe JJ, you can,
I'll do it.
on. I want everybody, open your laptop, open your iPad, go to digitalsmiledesign.com. If you don't know, that's our website, okay? digitalsmiledesign.com. And I want you, as you open the website, you can leave it like this. Look, you can leave big like this. We don't need the bottom here. No, you don't need. That's good. That's good. Huh? Unfortunately, as you saw, Wi-Fi is not perfect. Let's hope it's gonna be good enough. Here, connect. Are you put on the Wi-Fi?
I can give it to you on my phone. Santi, Victor.
It's not on the. Did you put? Do you have the cable?
Yeah, put it in. So what we do is we're gonna try to download everybody, but what we'll do is what we did in Miami. From your iPads, we can airdrop the presentation to whoever doesn't have it.
And that's what I wanted to really log in and download from
Okay.
Otherwise they're gonna cheat on us and they will not log in. Everybody on the website? Okay? JJ? It's distorted the image, look at.
So this is where you create the account. So you come here to the little.
Okay, everybody click on, let me repeat that, Brandon, I didn't hear.
You might have registered for practicing. We have your first clinic.
Okay, yeah, let's,
You might have registered with your practice email, you might, so we can't find you, so just tell us which email you want and we can give you access. So just find one of us. If
go to the
you-
little guy there. Everybody click on the
Little
little guy there.
If you don't have an account,
Sign out, so if you
you
click
come
there,
to the little guy,
click on the little guy.
and if you have not registered, you go here. New to DSD, sign up now.
If the doctor doesn't know if he registered, Brandon, if the doctor's not sure if they registered or not, how can we identify, can we find out? No. So sign in, go to sign in.
You have signed in.
So if you remember that you are really signed in, you're fine. Who is 100% sure that you have an account and you're signed in?
So you might have
Okay, so actually,
signed in, registered
okay.
on the old website.
So
You
how,
have to re-register. The old website you might have registered, but the new one you have to re-register.
yeah, remember we changed websites 2 months ago? So you need to be, whatever you did on the old website, yeah, so click, if you can access this page, it's because you're already registered, right? Yeah. Okay? So now, somebody needs help? Everybody here? Everybody signed in? You were signed in? Peggy, are you in? No? Yeah? But you are signed in, you know that, right? You're not sure? Yeah. Maybe internet. Okay, so now you're gonna click on My Courses. My Courses. Click on My Courses. And this is what you have, okay? So this is your account, right? So you know, yeah. So basically, if you're at DSD clinic, you see this, right, Brandon? You should see this? No.
That's for the employees.
Yeah. So if you did residency, you should see this, the slides of the residency. If you bought online, you see this. And we want to give you access. So probably some of you can see this, some of you cannot see this. Who cannot see this? Okay, so we as a DSD master, we want to give you this. So you're getting this as a gift, probably the best gift of this course, okay? So special gift to all the masters here present. So what we need to do, Brandon, you need to find their email, right? So how can they, maybe on WhatsApp group, on the WhatsApp, are we all on the
Yes.
WhatsApp group? No,
So-
we're not on a WhatsApp group.
Yes. There's a WhatsApp group.
From this course,
Yeah.
there is a WhatsApp
Yes.
group. So this
You're
is
never
not-
in the groups, but we all are.
Yeah.
We protect you from the groups.
So what I want you to do is to write on the group the email that you used to log in. Is Is that good? Huh? And some people are not in the group, so let's add, who's not a Victor?
Victor has you.
Discourse, not the instructors group. Some of you are in the instructors group, some of you are in the DSD clinics group. No,
This is the master's meeting.
there's the master's meeting group. So share the email. So let's make sure that during the lecture of JJ and Priya, you got it. During the lecture of JJ and Chris, let's make sure that you have access to this folder.
It's really the other one, Christian. The one that we shared is this one. Emotional presentation
Ah.
pack.
Okay. What is the difference between that? There's
We
more
created
stuff.
this one. This one is more recent. This one is more recent. This is for this course.
But it's the same.
It's the same content, but this is better.
Okay. So this is the one. Okay, don't click. Forget this girl. Emotional presentation pack. Emotional presentation pack. Click here. If you click inside, you're gonna see that this is the emotional presentation pack. You click again, and you're gonna see 3 files. So I want you to download. They need to download this.
They need to download
Click view.
only. They need to download this one and this one for today.
Yeah. So today, I want you to open the presentation and download this keynote file. Download the keynote file. And if you're on an iPad, where do you save this?
It saves some files of the iPad automatically.
Okay. So everybody okay? That now your iPad and your iPhone can work like a Dropbox with folders, right? You can save documents on your phone. This is something that you couldn't do on the phones before. Now you can save files. So you're gonna save, if you're on a laptop, of course you save wherever you want. If you're on your phone or your iPad, you can also save. So download this.
We just have the ranking access. Ideally in the iPad.
Huh?
Ideally in the iPad.
Ideally in the iPad,
The
it's
iPad?
faster, yeah.
Because the presentation will be too small on the phone. But you can, but it's cool. Because if you have a phone and a TV,
Yeah.
you do the whole magic.
iPhone, Apple TV, it works. You do the whole thing with the
Easy.
phone.
Picture, no markup, picture, videos, and this template, you kill it.
And you also need to download the following. Here, if you click here, demo patient files, you have the pictures and the videos of Brigitta, the patient that we did in the last residence in Miami. They're
So we need to download this as well, because we're gonna pretend this is your patient. We're gonna pretend this is your patient, and these are the pictures that you did before the markup, and after the markup, and the video before the markup, and the video after the markup. And some images from the DSD plan of the patient as well, right? So what we're gonna do is that you received the plan, received the presentation from the planning center, okay? Let's pretend this patient is yours. And if you can, this is important here, if you give me a minute of your attention here. This is the magic. This is how you're gonna train your coordinator. Before your patient comes in, they're gonna receive the presentation from the planning center. You already approved, you approved the smile design, you approved the plan, you communicated with Francis and Tatiana and the team, you know exactly what you wanna sell, what you wanna present. You get the presentation back from the planning center, you download the presentation from the planning center, that's it, okay? And then, what your treatment coordinator needs to do is to study the template, because then on the template, it's gonna show how to build a story. As Jess mentioned, it's very cool to put some technical pictures on the emotional presentation as well, even though you know very well already that the sequence of the second appointment presentation is emotional journey first, and then problem journey, and then treatment journey, solution journey. So you will come back to the planning center presentation in details after the markup, when you're presenting the plan. But you already want to bring some of the cool images from the treatment presentation into the emotional presentation to show to the patient that the beauty of their markup was not random, was not by chance, was not just luck. That is technology. That's why we have a video of the printer, that you can use always the same video for every patient. You can use always the same images of the shell and the markup for every patient. Everything is preset, looks like it's for their case, right? So your treatment coordinator needs to understand the sequence of the template and then do the print screens of the planning center presentation only of the images that you want to show at the emotional moment, okay? So the patient comes in, you have these preset images already in your tablet or on your desktop. The presentation is downloaded with your template, your model there, and then we're gonna show you how your treatment coordinator was just drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop. And because of this new technology that Apple just launched, this is like a few weeks ago, this was not possible last year. What they launched is this template, this keynote feature that you cannot have on PowerPoint. The same. PowerPoint has a little bit, but not like Keynote, where Keynote memorizes absolutely every feature of your pictures and videos, meaning the filter, the border, the shadow, the length of the video, the crop of the image, the size. So you do this template. We already did this work for you. So the template is already with all these features. So when you take your pictures of your patient and you drag, and you take the videos and you drag, they already come exactly with the same features. So there's almost no need to fine tune almost nothing. The videos already come in a loop, the videos already come trimmed, the videos come whatever, the pictures come with a nice filter, black and white, whatever, we already pre-did. Of course, feel free to adjust the template as you wish. If you want to add extra photos, extra slides, if you want to change some of the features that we added, you customize the template. Of course, we want you to customize the template with your office logo, with your office color. You do this work once, and your template is set for every patient, okay? So this is the hands-on that we're gonna do right after the lecture from JJ and Chris, okay? So just don't worry, if while they're speaking, if you have issues downloading anything, raise your arm. The rest of the team, Victor is walking around, yes? Victor will be walking around, making sure that we don't lose time. Right after the lecture, we're gonna have a quick coffee break, and then we go for the hands-on. Okay? Go, JJ.
Jay.
Hi guys, I made it. Good morning. Now, in relation to what Christian was saying about the coordinator and about Jess' lecture. No, I'm gonna be really short. No, I got it. So, as most of you know, we have this service that we do for the Dsd clinics, and it's a mandatory step for the clinics. That is the consultancy. The consultancy is a 2-day training that we do in your practice, and we've done more than 60 in the last 2 years. And it's important because everything you learn at the residency, it's great, but there's a huge gap between when you come to the residency, what we tell you, what you see Christian do, and the way you communicate with your staff